So right now it's June 22nd. Well, okay, you caught me. I don't know what day it is, but I'm thinking about my travels, and I was searching for a travel itinerary in order to make the most of my vacation. This is summer vacation, by the way. It ends August 13th, August 14th. We have to go back to school on August 14th, so probably August 13th I should pretty much officially end my vacation. I was looking at a travel itinerary that included a flight from Los Angeles to Puerto Rico, San Juan, San Jose, it's all kind of a blur now. San Jose, Puerto Rico. No. It's San Juan, Puerto Rico first. I would spend a few days there, and then I would fly to Quito, Ecuador. Spend several days there, probably 5 days, or rather 5 nights. And then from Ecuador, I can take a direct flight to Panama City, Panama. And then from Panama City, I would make my way to Bocas del Toro, where my cousin lives, and I want to save some money by staying with her, but I don't want to burden her or to impose, so I would definitely bring gifts, offerings, okay? And I could also pay, but I would hope to pay a lot less than I would pay were I to stay somewhere else, because we're family, you dig? Yeah, I guess I am kind of imposing, and I would be a burden to her, but I digress. From Bocas del Toro, I think maybe 3 nights there. Again, I don't want to burden or impose too much. From Bocas del Toro, take the bus to Bahia Draque. Actually, you go from Bocas del Toro to the city of David by bus, and then from David you go to the frontera, or the border, and then from the border find a bus that takes you to Bahia Draque. Not directly, but there are 2 buses you have to take. So I've done this trip in reverse. That's how I know this. And then in Bahia Draque, there's an organic farm, and the owner of the farm, well, he's the owner of a resort and also a farm. Well, he offers his farm to travelers / volunteers, who are workers. So if you want to stay there for free, then you give them 4 hours of your day to work and to help out, right? What they do is they offer night tours at night, and the footpaths, the walkways need to be clear of any debris, any falling leaves and such. And so it would be the volunteer's job to make sure that the paths are clear. Yeah, that's pretty much what we did the last time that we were there. Made sure the paths were clear. We just swept the paths. Not a lot of heavy lifting. There was a gas propane tank that needed to be lifted, and unfortunately we didn't do that. It was left to the gentleman who lives there. He's indigenous Costa Rican. Yeah, I guess I can tell you about that. So there was this American dude, white guy, probably of Costa Rican descent, but he was an American, and so he told me, just have Luis do it. Now Luis is the little brown Costa Rican dude, and this was like the most disrespectful sort of thing. White guy saying, just get the black guy to do it, basically. I was like, yo, this dude's bugging out here. I'm bugging hearing this. Like, what? So I should probably move around as I talk so you can get a little bit of this backdrop back here. I just remembered that. Yeah, so that wasn't cool. But anyway, aside from that, what I wanted to tell you is that Puerto Rico, Ecuador, and Panama all use the US dollar. I mean, Puerto Rico is America, so the US dollar You know, of course they're going to use the US dollar, but then I didn't know that Ecuador did. So when you fly into Ecuador, then the US dollars is the currency, and then Panama is the same way. So Ecuador surprised me. I knew that about Panama because I remember receiving like coins, American quarters, but they were like slightly different, the backs of them. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So that's the thing that I like while searching for this itinerary. Now, okay, I must admit, the way that I'm able to pay for these flights will be through my miles, right? So I'm looking at some very discounted flights. So how else could I fly to, how many countries is that? Well, not really countries. Well, let's see. Okay, let's consider. Well, Puerto Rico is a territory, so let's consider it. Okay, the Puerto Rico, and then fly to Ecuador. There is a layover in Colombia, so let's say Puerto Rico, Colombia, Ecuador, and then Panama, and then from Panama to Costa Rica. That's 5 countries, guys. 5 countries. So how else could I fly to 5 countries within a month or so, short period of time, and do it cheaply, affordably, but with, you know, miles, you know, frequent flyer miles. So pretty much I can get, I would say like 75% of my flights, you know, for very cheap, you know, very cheap, less than $100 for those flights. And if I pack my bags well enough, if I pack so little that, yeah, let's talk about packing bags and stuff. You know, these days, I'm gonna pack as little as possible. You know, you need your underwear. You know, I think that Rochelle told me, you know, packing underwear, you know, that's really what you need. You can have, you know, you can wear the same pants, you know, day in and day out for a number of days, maybe even the same shirt, maybe not. You need that deodorant and all that. But as far as underwear goes, you have to change that daily. But if you're not wearing underwear, ding, there's an idea. So I have some swimming trunks that I can wear instead of wearing, you know, underwear and having to wear those every day. So per week, you know, I might have to wash a few pairs of underwear like once, you know, rather than having 7 pairs of underwear, carrying them along and then washing them, you know. Well, even if I had 7 pairs of underwear, I could wash them once a week, and I could have clean underwear every day. Huh? Yeah, that's true too. But who wants to carry 7 pairs of underwear around? That's my point. I'm going to be packing very light, and so I have dry fit clothes that will that will dry quickly. All right. So yeah, this is what I want to do. You know, yesterday, if I don't reserve my tickets, or rather if I don't purchase my tickets, you know, immediately, well, then the circumstances change. I find that today's deal will not exist tomorrow or 24 hours, you know, from now. So I have to act quickly, or I have to adjust to all of my plans. And in fact, as I'm telling you this now, just yesterday, my idea was not to go to Ecuador, but it was to fly to Puerto Rico, Panama, and Costa Rica only. And I think there was a layover in Bogota, Colombia, but that was about it. So now, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, Costa Rica. Yeah, so that's what it is. So I will tell you a story about today when I was in Beverly Hills, and yeah, Beverly Hills, California, that posh, that famous, you know, location. So when I was in Beverly Hills today, I went to, where is that? I went to Air One. Boy, oh boy, Air One is an expensive shop, and this was my very first time going there. My wife, you know, loves this shop, and I'm just like, this place is ridiculously expensive. So I go in there, and at Air One, first off, I'm surprised by the prices, all right? But then I discovered that they have a few items that are on sale. So I'm like, okay, I think I could swing these sale items. So I pick up some pasta and some other ingredients to make a pasta dish. And for the most part, it was pretty cheap. So I walked out of there spending less than $20, about $18, and I got a few things, which, you know, was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. Wasn't too crazy. I think you can buy some things. I'm sure you can buy 2 things in there that'll cost you more than $40, like very quickly. And so I didn't spend that much, only 18 bucks, and I got a few things. So, but Air One, my goodness, it's just ridiculously expensive. So Trader Joe's is more my speed. You know, Trader Joe's, you can get something you can spend $20 and get a lot of ingredients there. You know, $20 over at Air One will get you one thing. So, all right, these are my little diaries. So I want to travel, you know, and yeah, I want to see more countries. Oh, excuse me. I told you about Air One because when I was there, as I was looking for items, you know, I was minding my own business. First, a gentleman approached me, a Latino man, you know, an Hispano hablante. He spoke Spanish, right? Español hablante. So he asked me if I need some help in English, and I'm just like, I was so angry. I was like, don't approach me and just you know, talk to me in English. You just assume I speak English, right? Wait. Okay, I have to preface this by saying that earlier that morning, several hours earlier, yesterday, I went and I bought a juice, right? I bought this juice, beet juice at this Mexican establishment, Fiesta Martin, okay, on La Brea in Los Angeles. And then when I pulled up, I was like, "Buenos dias," and the girl behind the counter was just like, "Good morning," and I was just like, dang, okay. She was like, "You don't fool me. You don't speak my language." I'm just like, oh man. So then she's like, then I'm like, you know, ¿cuánto cuesta? She's like, $9. I'm just like, dang, she's not giving me opportunity. She's not reciprocating, you know, at all. And I'm just like, wow. So I'm like, okay. So she just says that she's decided to practice her English with me. That's what she's decided, okay? And she's just ruled out that I even speak Spanish. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. Okay, fine. That's what it is, fine. So I paid for my little watermelons, and I paid for the juice. 2 things that I bought, $9. And I'm like, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. Fiesta Martin has delicious food. But that service, it's like, man. But it's kind of hood, so they're just like, yo, whatever. So I was a little hurt, you know. I felt that one, like I was in my feelings about that one, like, man, she didn't even, you know, mess with me in Spanish. Now, as soon as the Latinos, the Mexicanos, the Honduranos, El Salvadoranos, I don't know, Ecuadoranos, whoever, okay, as soon as they pulled up, and they did. As I was standing there, they pulled up, and then she was like, "Oh, buenos dias," and da 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 da. So maybe it was a matter of being a regular customer versus me. I just pop up whenever I pop up, and so she wasn't feeling it. Or it could have been something else, right? So anyway, that had me in my feelings about Spanish for the day, or rather it set the tone for Spanish. So I was like, man, I'm going hard with my Spanish. I'm about to use it. I'm about to put it into motion, because I can't have these people like depriving me of my opportunity to practice Spanish. Okay, I don't know, deprivido o mi oportunidad para practicar español en mi estado, en mi ciudad, Los Angeles. Man, I need to practice, you know. So anyway, the later on in the day, yeah, I'm at Air One, and the guy approaches me. He's like, "Hey, can I help you? You need some help or something?" And I was like, "No, señor, todo bien, you know, está bien, whatever." And then he said, "Oh, okay, sí, quizás tienes una pregunta, alguna pregunta, dígame," you know, whatever he said. And I was like, sí, no problema, excelente, whatever. So I was like, cool. At least he spoke to me in Spanish, right? So I get to the front of the line at Air 1 now. We're at Air 1 still, okay? So I had to tell you that story about the girl with the juice and all that to preface, to let you know how I was feeling about Spanish. So by the time I got to Air 1, well, now I'm like, I've got to speak my Spanish, right? So anyway, I approached the counter and I'm looking at the clerks, right? The cashiers behind the counter, and I see what looked like, well, I couldn't even tell you what they looked like. I knew that the girl looked more Asian than anything, right? Certainly they weren't black, so I was just like, Air 1 in Beverly Hills. Yeah, I see all the Latinos working here, but I don't see any blacks. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, you know, a little heart, you know, hurt, like in my feelings, right? So anyway, I'm at the counter, and the young guy is about to ring me up. So he's like, hey, how's everything going? And I was pissed, right? Because I'm like, I don't know what language they speak, but I want to practice my Spanish today. So I was like, sí, está bien, todo bien, sí, solo, you know, I don't know what the hell I said, but I said something, right? And it was all in Spanish. And so they were just like, they were put off, like, oh, he's a Spanish speaker. Like, oh no, what do we do, right? Because they were not Spanish speakers, but I did not know that. So I kind of like eased back on the Spanish. I was like, all right, I'm gonna chill because they're not, you know, speaking Spanish to me. So I asked the kid, I'm like, hey man, where are you from? And he's like, first he's like, oh, I'm from California. And I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, where are you from, man? So he's like, oh, I'm from the Philippines. Bet. So I'm like, oh. So I'm like, kamusta ka? I forgot what kamusta ka means. It might mean welcome, or it might mean hello. I don't think it means hello, but okay. But I said kamusta ka. And when I said this, then the dude was like, he was more comfortable, because when I hit him with the Spanish, he was like, oh man, I don't speak this language. I don't speak his language. Or, you know, he was like, ooh, this dude. But then I spoke his language, and then it was like, hey man, what's up, bro? You know? So there was a connection there, and the guy was like, hey man. So when I finished when I finished paying for my items and whatnot, you know, I didn't have any of my stickers to give to the guy to say, hey, this is my YouTube channel, check me out, or whatever like that. But the guy was like, hey man, you're a pretty cool dude. And I was like, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, you know. And so I was on my way. Now the Asian girl who was there as well, was she, you know, I think she just helped bag the stuff up, but she was like, I'm not getting involved. I think she was like, oh, he speaks Spanish, I'm not getting involved. I don't speak that language, you know. So, but the dude, man, he was like, hey man, you're a cool dude, man. I was like, hey, thank you. And then I left. So I thought to myself, wow, if we speak if we speak, you know, multiple languages or different languages, or if you speak that person's language, that person who you're in front of at that time, you can have a positive experience, a positive interaction, right? And so, yeah, so that was the point. So that made my day, that turned my day around, you know, a complete 180. And I was like, oh, I'm good right now. I spoke a little bit of Spanish, but I learned that kid is he's younger than me, so he's a kid. He's from the Philippines, but I was still able to, you know, relate to him. But again, we're all Californians. I'll give him that, you know, Filipino American. He's Californian. The Latino guy, I mean, his Spanish was strong. He might have been, you know, might have immigrated to the U.S. So he's more of, I mean, that's what I would think, you know, more of Latino than Central American, more so than, you know, California. But then again, California was once part of Mexico, so he's at home. I don't know. All right, but check this out, right? So later in the day, after Air 1, after the juice bar, that juice bar was in the morning, after Air 1 in Beverly Hills, then I'm back in, you know, my neck of the woods, right? In my neighborhood. And I'm parking my car, and I notice that I'm blocking. Like, as I'm maneuvering my car to park, I'm blocking what appear to be Ethiopian women who are walking in the morning, getting some exercise. They're older. I know, well, I don't know that they're Ethiopian. They could have been Eritrean. They could have been Somalian, all right? So I'm at fault if I assume that they are Ethiopian. But, you know, Amharic is all that I know. A few phrases in Amharic. So what I do then is I'm, you know, maneuvering my vehicle and I'm kind of in their way, and I've, you know, sort of obstructed them on their path, and, you know, they had to wait for me to park. You know, I said to them, Salem. No, not Salem. Salam. I said Salamnesh. All right, this is how you say peace to a woman from, you know, my studies. You would say salam to a man, or salam no to a man. To a woman, Salamnesh. And these were two women, so I said Salamnesh. And then as I was backing up, I said Nikirta. So Nikirta means excuse me. So I said hello, and I said excuse me. And having said those two things, you know, went over pretty well with those ladies. They looked and they said, like, he knows, he's one of us, kind of a thing. Oh, he knows, you know. I'm like, that's all I knew, you know, is to say hello and excuse me. But that went over really well, and they were like, okay, once he parks, then we can walk. And, you know, we're not going to have a problem. He's safe, you know. And so that was cool, because I made them feel comfortable. Because, you know, when you're walking around in Los Angeles or any big city, you know, you never know who you're encountering. And if someone shows that they understand who you are, and they see you, you know, then that, you know, puts you at ease, puts that other person at ease. So these are some cool experiences I had with language, with languages today, with using language and interacting with, you know, other humans right here in Los Angeles. So I'm kind of feeling myself, you dig? Any other stories? Do I have any other stories? I think that's about it though. Languages. Something else happened with language on another day. I have another story. What happened? Languages. I had just thought about it, but then I also just forgot about it. Amharic, Spanish, Japanese. Oh, I guess a lot of things have been happening with language. I went to the local 99-cent store. There's a man who speaks Mandarin there. This was about a week or so ago. And I was looking for parchment paper, and he speaks Mandarin. So I asked him, and then I searched it up in Google, and the Google Translate gave me parchment paper. I forgot. Chongshengzi, Kongchi Z, something. I forgot. You have to forgive me. But it did sound something similar to that. I'm not making up these words, and you know, in that stereotypical racist, you know, ching chong, whatever, how that's been done. But it literally sounded like, you know what? In Korean, paper is chonggi, so it might have been something like chonggi Z, something like this in Mandarin. All right, because Mandarin and Chinese have relations, you know. Korean words are derived from Chinese, so there are relationships between them. All right, so anyway, so when I found the name on Google, then he still didn't know what I was looking for exactly, and still didn't know where to point me, but he pointed me in the direction of just the paper aisle, and they didn't have it. So I went to the cooking aisle, spent a little bit more of my time, went to the cooking aisle. That's where I found the parchment paper. And when I found it and I brought it back, I showed it to him, and I said it in Mandarin, whatever it is, Changchangzi, and he was like, oh, okay. And then when I left, I was like, she, which means thank you. And it was like he didn't want to. He interacts with a lot of people, and they don't come to him, you know, I guess humbly and in his language. They're not. That's my guess. It might even be a stressful job, or he just might be disinterested in his job because he wasn't very interested in me. Like, dude, find it on your own, man. I don't know. There's paper right there. Go, you know, sort of a thing. But then when I spoke his language, when I showed him what I was looking for, and when I said thank you to him in Mandarin, it kind of changed. He was like, oh, okay, you're Chinese. Your Mandarin is good, you know. And I'm like, dude, I don't speak Mandarin like that. So, you know, my point here is I've had different experiences with people, you know, when I've used their language. And I know we're in America, we're always supposed to just use English. That's the biggest thing. But not everyone in America is there. Not everyone in America is at the level to just use English. So as Americans, we have to be, you know, multilingual. So, all right, those are my stories. I had one more, but I forgot it, and I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to say deuces, you know, salute, peace, and blessings. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.